one thing my family ever did for me in my writing was not to send me to a psychiatrist after reading the story, but to pat me on the head and say that was good. And what inspired me to be a writer, I don't know. I think it's something that you either have or you don't, is an itch to do. But I know that Louisa May Alcott was the first female writer that I knew that supported her family from her writing. And so she was a hero of mine. And then Henri Norton was another alive female writer who was actually making a living as a writer. And she was very important to me because her bibliography in the back of the book said she had to leave college because she had illnesses. And I thought, that's a real person. Maybe if that real person could be a writer, maybe a 14-year-old farm girl from the middle of Indiana can be a writer too. Gave me hope. And Robert E. Howard's Pigeons from Hell, written about 1314. It was a short story collection, first horror I read, first dark fantasy I read. And I decided not only did I want to be a writer, but I wanted to write this. And I've never looked back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, have you considered upgunning the weapons I need to use? My personal preference is for something a bit larger in caliber than 9mm.
Actually, I find that though I can shoot comfortably with a 45, it is a bitch to carry. I can still carry. I feel like I'm listing to one side, and she's about my size. I'm actually, because she has my old workout and has never had a baby, she's smaller than I am. She's lighter weight. So I don't know if and if it makes you feel like I'm listening to one side, it should make her have the same issue. And I also find, as I take more combat shooting courses, that my hand, okay, I have a bad hand. That's one of the reasons I don't sign like I used to. And it's a permanent injury. So after I've shot in conditions where there's live fire and I'm running around and being told, threat right, threat left, threat behind, my hand gets tired. 45 makes me tireder faster. I love the gun, but I think for practicality, I prefer the 9. And I was going to have a 45, but the more I've used it in situations as close as I ever want to get to, the emergency thing, I got to go back to the 9 for carry, for concealability, for fitting my hand. I love my range officer, but I just can't figure out how to carry it in girl clothes.
I wanted to say hello, and I've read all of your books. I want to say thank you for writing.
You're welcome.
I just enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I want to know if you're going to do more crossover, small novels, especially with Edward and Anita, because they just work so well together.
Edward's not a small story kind of guy. I would do a short Edward book if he would come up and say he has an idea, but Edward doesn't talk to me as much, and all the ideas with Edward, as soon as Edward enters an Anita book like an Affliction, Edward didn't come onto Affliction until I was halfway, and I thought I knew the rest of the book, and then Edward shows up, and I went, fuck. Because I knew the book had doubled at that point. It always does when he comes on. So Short and Edward just don't seem to go together. Sorry. Hello.
I was going to ask you, have you ever considered doing the movies of the Anita Blake series, or do you think it would be too risque for the general public?
I can't really answer that part, that last part, but I would do a movie if we could get a deal that everyone liked. We had a TV deal that was signed before Charlotte Harris signed on True Blood. Charlotte and I were friends. And we went, this is great! We signed within a week of each other! It'll be awesome! Her series got made, mine didn't. And that's just the way it works. Hollywood, as Neil Gaiman says, makes far more contracts than it does movies or television shows. So I'd be minimal. Would it be too risque? I have no idea. No idea. Yeah, you can do HBO, wherever it's on HBO, TV, it's really weird that TV is now actually pushing a look further than movies, which was not the case for many years. But you can do things on TV you couldn't do on the movie screen. So I don't know. But funny that nobody in America worries about the violence level and the sexual content. You're welcome.
Yeah, well, in one of your previous novels, Otto Jeffries contracted with cancer. Do you foresee him coming back, and do you foresee Anita dealing with him or Edward dealing with him?
I think that Olaf's going to get hit with by Anita and Edward, actually. I'm pretty sure it'll take a twofer. I thought I knew how we were going to get rid of him, but he's lasted longer than I thought. I really didn't think he would last this long. And my idea was to try to create a serial killer continuing character that could be in multiple adventures. I've succeeded. I really thought he'd be dead by now. I really thought we'd have to kill him. So I don't know now. I think I know the book that he's going to show up in, and there's a potential for either Edward and Anita, or there's potential for Anita to be out of town with someone else when it happens, and I'm voting not that second. But I don't always get a vote.
Hi.
Hello.
I just had a question. I didn't know if you were just releasing Jason or if you had a novel right after that that you were going on to.
I do. Should I go ahead?
This is also known as the OKH spoiler session.
Somebody else called it the tease. But I realized that I need a bit of electronic because I do not have the blurb written off. I need my...
PD minion.
It's in the room.
My phone is in the room. No, and anyone that shows up to the room that I don't know, it won't go well. Just really trust me on that one, it won't go well. I need a bit of electronics.
Give me a minute, I'm pulling it up, ask a question, we'll come back to it.
Okay, ask a question and my peoples will look it up for me. Because I have the back cover copy of the next book. Of the book after this one. And this book comes out, Jason comes out December 2nd. And in the back of Jason's book, because it's a short, for me, it's a short novel. For regular people, maybe not, I don't know. Well, I know, books seem to be getting longer. But it will have the first 2 to 3 chapters of the next book. And I do not have I haven't finished writing the book, so I don't want to give you a pub date. Let me finish it first. I'm already going, what do you mean there's cover copy? Well, what if I change something? That's why cover copy is so big. That's exactly it, because they finish it before the book's finished. They always do. Almost always. So I will read you the cover copy because we are going to have, doing something that my publisher is doing on Facebook. Okay, this is, I'm 20 plus novels. All the short stories, all the title ideas I had for me have been used up. Long ago, my sticky notes of titles were used up. And we've been brainstorming with everybody in New York, and nobody's come up with anything they liked. And so my editor came with this great idea. How about if we let the fans help us title the book? And, but I said, well, they can't title the book, they don't know anything about it. That is why you're getting a cover copy, perhaps earlier. Thank you. Earlier than ever before. Because you guys can't go on Facebook and try to be part of what they're doing on Facebook when they start doing it. I don't think they've started. I'm ahead. I'm usually ahead of something. Okay, this is the blurb for the book that is untitled, that fans have a chance to help us come up with a title. Now, I reserve the right to hate every title suggestion and come up with my own. But it would be really fun. Or, I don't know, maybe you guys don't care. Would you like to help title a book? We really should ask first. Not just assume this is a great idea for you. Okay, this is the book after. This is not not Jason, because this has a title. Anita Blake has the highest kill count of any vampire executioner in the country. She's a U.S. Marshal who can raise zombies with the best of them. But ever since she and Master Vampire Jean-Claude went public with their engagement, all she is to anyone and everyone is Jean-Claude's fiancé. It's wreaking havoc with her reputation as a hard ass to some extent. Luckily, in professional circles, she's still the go-to expert for zombie issues, and right now, the FBI is having one hell of a zombie issue. Someone was producing zombie porn. Anita has seen her share of freaky undead fetishes, so this shouldn't bother her. But the women being victimized aren't just mindless rotting corpses. Their souls are trapped behind their eyes, signaling voodoo of the blackest kind. It's the sort of case that can leave a mark on a person, and Anita's own soul may not survive unscathed. So. We'll be putting it up on Facebook at some point, but I get permission to read it here to you today, and that's the book after. And the soul of zombies as sex slaves, how many people in the audience know where we, in one of the earlier books, we raised that? Yeah. And it's still one of the most disturbing ideas I've ever come up with. Dead but trapped in your own body. Okay. And I should say, once they list it on Facebook, then you guys can start putting in your title ideas. And details beyond that, I don't have yet, because, as I said, they haven't given it to me. They gave me the blurb, and they said I could tell you. So be on the lookout on it on Facebook, and you guys can, maybe somebody here will help title the next book.
Cool.
So my question was, I started rereading the first book, and I was kind of a little bit, shocked again at how chaste Anita used to be. Like, she, very strictly monogamous, very biased against, vampires, all this other stuff, but just very limited sex life. And then we go to this,
where we are.
To put it mildly. And I was just wondering if that had been like a planned trajectory. Like if back in the beginning you said, yeah, I'm going to be exposing, my books are going to be exposing more and more to the sex life, with open relationships and things like that.
No. I bet long and loud, I would bet good money that Anita would never have dated Jean-Claude, let alone slept with him at the beginning of the first 3 books. In fact, I planned to kill him at the end of Circus the Damned, 3rd book. Because he was taking over my damn series. So I thought, we'll just kill him. That was my plan. He was going to die in the 3rd book. And Richard Zeman was still on stage, and they would run off into the sunset together. And then we got to the point where Anita was supposed to drive the stake to his heart, and I couldn't do it. Damn it. I couldn't do it. I realized we'd miss him, both her and I. And in that moment that I did not kill him, he did take over my damn series. It's the most interesting thing because I totally didn't plan to go here. I don't know what I planned her. I really planned her to marry Richard and be monogamous and be happy and everything. But I realized later that Richard in some form without the angst would have been the perfect guy for me just after college with my biology degree. So creating somebody that's perfect for you and trying to get your girlfriend to date him, how does that go? And then Richard became a whole character on his own, and he totally went a new direction for me. So, no, I totally lost any plan I had for the social life of my main character. Anita's definitely not going where I thought we would go, and I find it fascinating, but no plan. I had a plan for the mysteries and the monsters. I didn't plan on us. Mary was actually supposed to be the place where I could write about the sex and not have to fight my characters all the time, because Mary was okay with it. And I didn't know that the next book after I started the Mary series would be the one where Anita finally said, oh, let's do this. Who knew? I didn't. Next question.
Hello. I was wanting to know if we were going to be seeing more of the graphic novels, not just with Anita, but if we're going to start seeing Mary and, when we can expect some of that.
Probably not. Mary's probably not going to go to graphic novel, but there will be more Anita novels. We're going to just pick back up with book 4. The reason we're going to graphic novels is that somewhere Marvel got bought out by Disney. And so Disney did not feel that Book 4, which has a snuff film sex scene in it, or more, there's no sex on stage, except, the baggage. The film is referred to, but they thought it was too risque and didn't meet their image. Briefly, I worked for Disney. How was that? But now my publisher is doing it, and so we just need to find an artist and get it going. I'm hoping next year. I'm hoping by this time next year that we'll have the graphic novel either in the works or something out so you can start to see images. So, yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Sorry, I'm very nervous up here, so.
It's okay.
I just want to say thank you. You took your first book about 10 years ago on a deployment in Iraq.
I am very happy. Thank you for your service.